All right, well, we're live now. Everybody just watched 2 minutes of us doing.
Yeah, why not?
That's
on me at that point. That definitely.
No, that's absolutely on me. That's on me for not paying attention to that. Thank you, Jim, for pointing that out.
Yeah, appreciate we would have kept going if we did
not
get it.
Absolutely
Jim, we would have gone for 40 minutes tonight had we not known that it was if it was muted. And then the fight that didn't happen in the parking garage would have happened in this studio afterwards, subsequently.
Finding out that we went 50 minutes without checking if the audio was working on the podcast. All right, well, we're fixed now. We can actually hear us talking, I'm assuming. God, we're so freaking barnyard. Today, we're going to be doing the hack bag. We've got a lot of questions that we're going to get to. I'm not going to reread through the complaint that I received from the parking people in our building that I was showing to Sean. You can read our lips and guess what we were talking about. I think that makes it more entertaining and fun for the listeners. We've got a lot of questions that we're going to get to. How do we get a good amount of voicemails today?
We got a crazy voicemail today, and we got a good amount of questions on Twitter.
Okay, so just one voicemail.
One today. Voicemail, but the voicemail
is it from who I can guess it's from?
Yeah, but we've made great strides with this voicemail, and we are going to have an official request from other listeners for the exact same topic that this voicemail provided.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yes, it's.
I kind of want to open up with the hack bag now that you're telling me this.
I think we should save the hack bag until maybe topic 2, close with hell yeah, get after, and then the winter arc of Sean's shout of the week.
Winter arc of Sean's shout of the week. You can't start the winter arc at the beginning of December.
Hey man, it's about the winter arc.
You're a month late into the
Welcome to the winter arc, pal.
Today we're also going to talk about Bill Belichick, who is rumored to be interested in the UNC job. That caught my attention. And of course, we've got Hell Yeah the Week, Get After the Week. We're going to hit the break, and then Sean's going to tell us about Bet Online. We'll be right back.
And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say
give me as well
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by the teammates every week. It's just terrible.
Welcome back to Hack City. Joe DeLeone, Sean Anderson. Mailbag, like we said earlier, we're going to get into it in a bit, but before we do, Sean, can you just tell our listeners about our good friends over at Bet Online?
I've got a Big Daddy 2.5 unit bet tonight on the Detroit Lions because I told you about it over the air. You know what that means. I'm not going to hit it. But for the most part, if you want to bet on Thursday night football, all the college football on Saturday, if you're getting into NHL, if you like UFC, boxing, NBA, don't know how you like NBA now that they're trying to craft it to make it look like 2K on the TV. Oh, that irks me to a degree that I can't even fathom. But if you like sports betting, you know it's not going to irk you. That's Bet Online. They're providing you with constant real-time odds and action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. Go to Bet Online today to see why they're America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet Online, the game starts here.
All right, Sean, thank you so much for doing that. So today I wanted to open with this. I don't know why.
You're welcome. You're very welcome, pal.
I'm just so thrown off by I messed up the audio thing that I'm being too friendly to you. I don't like this. Sean, it was reported on today by many people. Pat Forty, friend of the show, had been one of the people who was covering this, that former New England Patriots head coach Bill Belichick interviewed for the North Carolina head coach vacancy to coach their college football program. Mac Brown was the previous head coach, former national championship winning coach at Texas. He originally started out at UNC before jumping to Texas, so it was a return for him, and then a little bit of a cataclysmic end because it did not live up to the hype. There was the hype of maybe Drake May could help them get to the college football playoff, and it just never came to fruition. I'm intrigued by this. I really am. I feel like Bill Belichick could work in college. I've seen a lot of people chirping and chiming in saying, oh, he's not going to want to recruit. What does he know about being able to communicate with college-age kids? First of all, his girlfriend's college-aged.
You beat me to the punch.
He's already got an ability of a translator to help him relate to a younger demo and not just 30-year-olds that he'd be coaching. I say that somewhat seriously and obviously mostly facetiously. But also, you can go and grab his son to coach the defense, who's at Washington, who had a year under his belt, coaching one of the best defenses in college football, one of the best secondaries in college football. Can pluck him, bring him over, run things. I think that the blueprint that Washington has thrown out there, more importantly, is how you can modernize and professionalize building a college football roster. I'm in on this. I don't know why anyone's poo-pooing on this. I actually think it would be cooler and a much more intriguing finish to Belichick's career for him to be a college coach than for him to finish his career as an NFL one.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, is his ego big enough to see if he can get a championship in college or become a great college coach and arguably the best NFL coach of all time. He's got connections to college football from his youth, as his dad was a legendary scout with Navy, and he has a deep connection with that program. So it's not like he's completely void of any college level athletics connections. Looking at it, though, I think he's just trying to get his feet back under him for the interview cycle. So when a big job opens up in the NFL, he's saying, all right, I got an option. I got something I could fall back on. I want to get back into it this year. I had a fun time analyzing, going on Pat McAfee and the Manning cast, but that's not my calling. I've only got so many years left to go and really coach, win another championship, get more wins, stack more of those, and become undisputedly the best of all time. So I think it's what do we know about Belichick, right? He plays chess. Everybody is playing checkers. It was his entire story in the NFL with the Patriots. He was always a step ahead. So getting right ahead of this with a nice mid to high level P4 job interview is at least setting the table, saying, hey, I'm already getting my feet out there. You're hearing my name already getting buzzed and circulated. I'm trying to skyrocket right to the best spot that I can get to, right to number one. And if he just keeps on interviewing, and I think he keeps on going, that's how he ends up with his dream destination, doesn't get beat out by a Brian Flores or a Mike Vrabel or any of the other competition, a Ben Johnson. He ends up at his true destination by manipulating the demand for Bill Belichick.
By the way, I appreciate that nobody's given us a verbal confirmation that our audio is working. I feel like nobody has said, yes, you guys sound good right now. I think that we're fine because we wouldn't have a small portion of people that are still sticking around. It would be at zero. But regardless, I think the other part with this too that gets intriguing is the risk of him jumping to the NFL and going and just sucking ass. There have been so many coaches that have tried the re-return and it doesn't work. I mean, Doug Peterson's like the first immediate one that comes to mind. He won a freaking Super Bowl with the Eagles, comes back, and we see how ugly this is finished to the point where he is going to get fired. There is not always a guarantee if you don't go to a franchise that has the same infrastructure of the one that you started at and the same level of freedom that you're going to be handed. I think that if you want to really just have it just depends on how he looks at it. Is he trying to get back into the game to win a Super Bowl again and to take over the NFL? He's only going to have 10 or so more years, really realistically, before his body starts to tell him, you got to chill, you got to step back from this. Or does he want to do something that I wouldn't call it retirement because it's still a lot of freaking work, but something that is a unique challenge that's different. And also, UNC has decently high expectations to win and be competitive, but it's not like he needs to step in and win a natty. And I also, the last part about this, y'all keep saying, I keep seeing people saying like, oh, he's not going to want to recruit. I don't think he needs to recruit that much. Build a staff of recruiters.
People are going to want to play for him.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my whole point.
Bill Belichick. Here's the thing, though. The coaching in college has to be harder than coaching in the NFL at this point. It just has to be. With the NIL and all the expectation from new age modern players, I don't know if he wants to be the next Herm Edwards, who went.
That's another good example.
Who went NFL
for a different reason,
and then he, obviously Herm Edwards is a great football mind. He's lived football. He's been around it, I think, his entire life. And he goes to college when the modern era is starting to shift, and Arizona State was continuously a disaster underneath him. I don't think it was all Herm Edwards' fault. I think he was getting shafted by the system, getting shifted every single year. And he just is like, this is not the football that I know. Belichick, sure, he seems plugged in, but I'm sure he's got a producer giving him talking points before he goes on every spot. It's a little different. There's a reason I think Saban stopped. I think it started becoming more of a headache and less about actually coaching football. And these younger, modern age coaches that are still hungry for it, I think they're better equipped because they have the energy. They're not in their 70s having to just wake up at 3 a.m. to phone calls about a kid's Lambo getting towed in a parking spot, and now he's going to decommit unless the football team covers the $500 ticket. Like that's just not going to suffice for Bill Belichick, I don't think. He's a strict man with strict rules.
We've got a few people throwing in comments, by the way. Anyone who's got thoughts or whatnot, we're going to get to the mailbag later. For Cardiac Cats, who's always been a great follow to me on Twitter, who's chimed in whenever I've posted draft takes. No, it's completely justified. What Sean said was ridiculous. It was not a plan. It was one of the stupidest. And I said it out loud. I was dumbfounded that was your pitch. I was like, I remember when you said it and I looked at the clip, I was in the middle of pulling something up. So I was listening to you while focusing on something else.
Yeah.
And I immediately was like, what did he just say? It was like inactive listening.
This is a tight, there's 2 dudes in this class that are going to go 1 and 2 at the quarterback position. Then everyone's going to be reaching for all the rest of the scraps. So I'm not saying that Quinn Ewers is naturally a first-round quarterback, but the market is going to see fit that he is overreached in the draft.
If you took Quinn Ewers in the 3rd round, I'd actually be like totally cool with this. Or like Will Howard in the 3rd round. Just have an option that if the things fall off the track, it's kind of Carson Wentz-esque where he played so tremendously well. And then for some reason they took Jalen Hurts and everyone was like, why would they take Jalen Hurts? And then once they knew clearly there was some foresight there to realize, hey, this wasn't going to pan out. We need to have a secondary option. The outsider thought it was crazy, but having a mid-round pick invested in a buildable, moldable athlete is different than taking Quinn Ewers.
That's Quinn Ewers. He's got a great arm.
But with a 1st-round pick, when you have so many other issues that need to be addressed,
I explained.
This isn't a serious
This
take,
either
brother.
unlocks Trevor Lawrence or you start getting Quinn Ewers ready to go and revved up in the NFL.
I'm praying that you're trying to antagonize Jaguars.
The
fans.
Jaguars aren't good enough for Shedeur Sanders. And
I don't think that they should take him, though.
They're not good enough for Cam Ward. I don't want to see the Jaguars ruin a quarterback that I care about also. So I wouldn't mind shipping Quinn Ewers off to the Siberia of the NFL.
The Cardiac Cat says, I think the idea of drafting a quarterback with a 1st-round pick solely to motivate Trevor Lawrence is quite an idea. I do think that they need a young quarterback regardless. Again, I don't disregard the thought of having a quarterback in the upcoming draft class for the Jaguars. I actually think it's a good idea for what was illustrated here. It's for a little bit of motivation. But the 3rd round, Will Howard, totally. I'm all for it. 3rd round.
Riley Leonard, a dickhead.
Riley Leonard, 3rd, 4th round.
Riley Leonard's a church boy, a choir boy. He can't.
Why do I want a dickhead?
I don't want 2 quarterbacks praying in the meeting room. I want 2 quarterbacks that hate each other. I want a Favre and Rodgers dynamic.
Okay, so
I need Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence
is 25.
He doesn't have a killer
dipshit.
mentality. He's been in the league for what now? 4 years? And I haven't. 4 years in, we need to start seeing him take actual steps, is what I'm saying. He hasn't. Whether it's a lack of motivation.
Carson Beck in the 2nd round. I would do Carson because Carson Beck's a tool. We all know that.
He might be an NFL crash out, though. I'm not sure if he's going to actually be a benefit. I think Quinn Ewers actually has a desire to be a good NFL quarterback.
I didn't realize Michael Pratt was on the Bucs practice squad. Yeah, I don't know if the NFL really has high hopes for Michael Pratt. We're going to get to the hack bag, though. Anyone who has comments, questions, we'll get to them when we jump to the hack bag. We're going to do our favorite segments that we always do, which is Hell Yeah and Get F. This is Hell Yeah of the Week.
This is the Hack City Hell Yeah of the Week. Cue the lasers.
All right, Sean, I'll let you go first. What is your Hell Yeah of the Week?
Yeah, so this week we had some nice, fun discourse on Twitter, and seeing that one gentleman was very upset to see that a TV that he bought off of Facebook Marketplace was actually a Popeye's digital menu board.
Oh, hell yeah.
And all of his friends were laughing at him while he was angrily stomping around trying to click his remote to change the channel off of the Popeye's menu board, which is obviously the tenders combo. This is the spicy chicken sandwich, the regular chicken sandwich. It didn't have the sides on it. because obviously that's on board number 2. So he did get the 1A chicken board.
Okay.
But obviously getting fleeced. And the internet's trying to give solutions like, oh, check the USB. There's obviously a USB in the back that locks the frame in. But this poor gentleman keeps on turning the TV on and off just to see.
Why didn't you give me this video to put into the show? I wanted to wait. Let me see if I can
DM it. Oh, yeah.
You put it into the doc.
I liked it in here. Yeah, it's just absolutely fantastic. Seeing one man melt down. I'm assuming he paid about $75 to $120 for the TV. But imagine.
You know what? I actually go ahead. Sorry, finish.
Imagine sitting down on a Saturday saying, all right, I'm going to have the boys over. We're going to watch some college football, get ready for it. And you turn it on. All you're looking at is all the tasty options that you get at your local Popeyes.
I tell you what, there's two aspects of this. One, if I made this mistake, that's the living room TV. Permanently. We're not fixing it. It's just always going to be the Popeyes menu. That's all you're ever going to have is the Popeyes menu. I'm not wasting my energy or my time trying to fix it. I think that it's decor now. Secondly, how do we go about purchasing one of these so that we can hang it? Like, people have wall art. We don't have any wall art. Right. I think that we should hang behind the couch the Popeyes menu.
I wouldn't mind a Popeyes menu hanging above the couch. When I was in Florida, I was hanging out with some buddies, and my buddy's dad had one of those mobile TVs. But this mobile TV looked like it was acquired like from a hospital, where it was just something that kind of gave vitals. And I think it was almost like rooted in to actually have mobile TV access. So there's a market out there for secondhand TVs that were used in a professional setting. I wouldn't mind us becoming an actual almost a pawn shop for those types of TVs.
I'm blurring the lines here a little bit with my hell yeah of the week because this is a little bit more of a get effed, but I have 3, so I had to find somewhere to put this. So Bevo, the enormous Longhorn, who is the mascot for the University of Texas, will not be allowed to travel for the SEC championship game and the national championship. This is a hell yeah for Uga, because he is being avenged and protected after the attempted assault that we all know occurred. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go look up Bevo and Uga on Twitter, where Bevo tried to break his way out of his containment to attack the small and very drowsy bulldog that is the Georgia Bulldog mascot. Quoted the SEC, I believe, was the one who, an SEC spokesperson said the reasoning was, there was limited space on the sideline at the stadium. They play at Mercedes-Benz. We can't jeopardize the safety of Bevo or the game participants with the narrow sidelines, location of multiple sets of television, blah, blah, blah. So basically, he is in a giant obstruction. I'm glad that this ugly, enormous monstrosity is not on the sideline.
You're not Team Bevo?
No, I'm Team Uga.
Why are you Team Uga?
Uga can't protect himself. Why? You hate dogs.
No,
you hate dogs. You hated Ben. You know what? You hate Uga. You hate dogs.
Rest in peace, Ben. Genuine, sincere. Rest in peace, Ben.
Shit.
Uga. That's crazy to give the bullshit on that. But Uga and bulldogs are an absolute bastardization of evolution, and humanity has gone too far with the American and English bulldog. Bevo is what we're about. A massive Longhorn standing on the sidelines, intimidating, 100% beef. That's what we need. I can't believe your Team Uga.
I can't believe you're not Team Uga. You're a bad person.
You're going against an actual live Longhorn on the sideline. That kicks ass. I don't care about Texas, but they still have the balls to throw that thing out there. And then so inspirational that you have people in Texas. I'm sure you've seen the story of the gentleman driving side by side in his car, modified to have a Longhorn in it. It's a revolution. It's better than a lapdog in a car. I'm Team Longhorn cow all the way.
It is the personification of the gluttonous endeavors of humankind to bring an enormous animal onto a sideline that it doesn't belong there.
You can't mark that as hubris. Hubris is engineering wolves down to a little cooler-sized beast that can't breathe or bark. That is not based. That's playing God.
Yeah, you wish you could do that. All right, hell yeah of the week. Or no, not hell yeah of the week. Get F to the week.
Get help?
I broke my knee, man.
No. Get effed.
Ice up, son.
It's the Hack City Get Effed of the week.
All right, I'm going to go first on this one.
Hmm.
So this is a very complex situation. We would waste 30 minutes trying to recount every single step of this. So the Hawk Tua girl released a meme coin. I don't understand the NFT market or the cryptocurrency market because I think it is stupid and a waste of time. Any idiot who tries to tell you, yeah, man, there's a lot of money in it, they don't know what they're talking about either. There's a small number of people that actually know what they're doing. This whole meme coin trend is really dumb. So she puts out a meme coin and is now being accused of a rug pull because apparently a lot of again, I'm not going to be able to properly explain this. Essentially, a lot of people that invested in the coin lost most of their money, and a lot of that money was clearly diverted to the individuals that were releasing the coin, including the Hawk Tua girl. They're denying it. They went in a Twitter space.
Smart, real smart.
Yeah, and the Hawk Tua girl was like shouting at people and cursing at people. Whoever has orchestrated this whole thing, and she clearly has no idea what's going on and understands the severity of the situation because she's like treating it very jovially. Meanwhile, these crypto dorks are trying to sit here and explain how they didn't, pull off something completely illegal. This is a get effed one for just the utter hubris of the side of the people distributing the coin and the Hawk Tua girl thinking that they could get away with this. But also, if you're stupid enough to invest in the Hawk Tua coin and you're putting this much money down, that's on you. Both sides are getting effed in this situation. This is the most stupid 2024 headline. If there's a way to get rid of cryptocurrency to these degrees, maybe not the ones that are actually useful like Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever. I can't believe that this is even a thing.
She had Mark Cuban on her show. I'm sure the Discords are seething mad about the billionaire just sitting on that show while she's making a meme coin. And I believe the explanation was, yeah, we hired 17 people to help set up the coin and distribute it and get it set up in the Caymans or wherever they set it up at offshore. And then all these morons and dopes that are trying to do this meme coin stuff. If you're not aware, you're probably just not on a Discord or a Discord sub-Discord channel where all this stuff goes down. It's infuriating. I don't know why this feels so insidious to me. The girl said that she was going to spit on that thing, basically. And now she's taking thousands and thousands of dollars from people that are now investing in the girl that said she was going to spit on that thing. Are we losing our minds? Are we living in an alternate reality? Why is this even a thing? Why are we even?
That's what I'm getting at here. The fact that people, I don't think that a lot of people invested in this seriously because a lot of people have been tweeting out these ridiculously long stories of how they put their life savings into it.
Yeah.
They're clearly making fun of the situation and trying to attack the Hawk
those
Tua
people
girl.
are based.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that part's hilarious. I think that that's the right thing to do. But I don't think many people are investing in this seriously. But the fact that this was capably a concept and is able to be pulled off is, like you said, how is it even possible?
I think people get real in the weeds with this stuff. I had a buddy that was like, I think he was all in on Dogecoin, like as soon as it came out. And he was working at the time and he was like putting a ton of his money in this Dogecoin thing. And I think it blew up and he started like flexing and trying to mog on us. And then it took a huge hit. And
before he got out of it?
I think it took a huge hit before he got out. And we didn't hear from him for like 2 months. There was no braggadocio attitude about it.
Is this somebody I've met?
An
adjacent friend?
I don't believe you've met them before.
Okay.
But yeah, people get real passionate about their meme coins and crypto.
What was your get after?
My get after the week. This actually happened to me as well. r/fantasy football advice posted.
So good.
It's just incredible that this happens. And this is why I love fantasy football, and you have to love fantasy football, even though I got shafted in this in a very similar way surrounding the same player. The post goes, inactive guy spent $100 FAAB on Guerrero.
Isaac Guerrero.
FAAB being free agent acquisition budget. Some fantasy football leagues, you are allotted an amount of money, fake money, to spend on free agents or waiver wire pickups throughout the season. And apparently, this gentleman had been inactive the whole season in our league, is 2-11 We already told him we're kicking him next season. Today, he spent $100 FAAB on Guerrero, fucking over many playoff-seeking teams in the process.
It's so funny.
Really a hilarious move to decide to make a playoff inactive team just a screw merchant on everybody else grinding. Because I was trying to pick this player up this week. I needed him. I need him back badly.
It's on the league for telling the guy, oh, we're getting rid of you, man. We're sick of your shit. You're not trying. You're out of the league.
What?
Why would you tell the guy and then be upset that he fucked everyone over? Why?
Dude.
Like, seriously, like, why would you think that this was going to not net some sort of catastrophic result? Of course, this guy feels like screwed, like left out. He maybe missed it a couple of weeks and just thought, oh, I'm done. I'm cooked. I'd love to know if he paid his buy-in or whatever. That is on the league for trying to pull this crap.
No matter how dedicated you think your league is, if you have 12 people in the league, one of them is just going to be punched out for the entire time. It's just how it shakes out in fantasy. Either they lose their first three.
We don't have anyone punched out. We have the guy in my league that is the biggest hardo who talks shit every single week. He is in last place right now.
I talk shit every week, but just because it means little to me, and I like trying to fire whoever up. My team is still sub 500. I'm making a big push for the playoffs. I needed Guerrero. I needed him bad. And now I don't have him because a 4-9 player snatched him up who's already booted from the playoffs.
So he just picked him off waivers
just for the love of the game. This guy at times forgot to set his lineup.
Oh, you got F.
Active. Oh, I got F bad. I'm sitting, and it's me and other guys on the waivers trying to make the push, just pleading to try to get a championship or even a playoff berth in my spot. And I just can't believe that he pulled this. He doesn't care about this league. He doesn't care, but he's just sticking it to us for no good reason. Can't stand it, but somehow I respect it because it's the league and there are rules and you have to respect the rules.
I had a second get effed really quickly. This is a text exchange I found on Twitter between some guy and his dad. This son texts his father, says, thinking we should give mom a break for Christmas dinner duty this year, don't you? You and me could have a right laugh cooking together instead. Thoughts is clearly a British person. Awful shout is the response from his father. A, you don't bench your best player on the biggest game of the effing season. Letting you have involvement whatsoever in making the Christmas dinner would be disrespectful to the birthday boy, Jesus Christ himself. The bars that this man ripped off, just every single one was fantastic. The shit talking from his father is great. Also, like, if you don't know how to cook, I would argue it's more selfish to say to your dad, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we went in there and figured it out? The rest of your family's going to be pissed if you come out with some slop that sucks. There's nothing worse. And I go into the kitchen and help your mom. That's the better way to do it. If your mom is always responsible and she's a good cook, you show up early and you say, Mom, what can I do to help? Any of that. You don't sit on the couch and get drunk like most of us would do.
Oh, yeah.
You just try to be helpful, even though the other option sounds a lot more fun.
It is.
You could get drunk while helping and then eventually get yelled at and asked to leave, but in the thought that counts.
Yeah.
That's typically what I do. If you try to be like, oh, let's take the duties away and then we'll cook, you're selfishly trying to make yourself feel better and then ruining everyone else's dinner. So no, don't do that. Don't be that guy.
It's a legendary dad text. I love dad texts. I pray that it's real. I'm going to lowball this guy when talking about a Ford pickup truck when his son's asking for advice. That's the best. But I think you nailed it. I am such an albatross in the kitchen. I'm not asking if I can help stir a pot or remove a pan from the oven. I'm too big. I take up a third of the kitchen. I'm taking out trash. I'm basically bar backing. That is my job when it's Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. If we need dishes done, yeah, I'll stand over the sink. I'll do some dishes. I'm not above it. I will step up and do it. I'm trying to keep the line moving. If my family wants to really chop it up and get the good meal going, I know I've got no involvement in that. You see my cooking abilities. I can make slop. That's what I do. I make a big pile of slop. It's rice and it's meat and it's slop.
And it usually has a carrying smell.
Yeah, a little bit. Sorry, I forgot your nose is sensitive to light seasoning.
It's not light seasoning.
It is.
I question if you do season the food that you cook.
Oh, it's heavily seasoned.
All right, let's get to the hack bag.
The mail never stops.
This is the Hack Bag.
Hit us on Twitter for questions or
Need an
call at
animation for this.
201-834-4308.
I'll get on that.
I'll appreciate it.
All right, Hackbag, where our listeners send us questions, 201-834-4308. If you want to leave us a voicemail, we always prefer voicemails. We will always play those first because we think that they're far more entertaining. So there's a bunch in here. Which one's the one that I'm
Hold
playing?
on, let me add it right now.
Okay.
I got distracted by the brief.
All right, well, you're
muting
putting
at
that
the
in there.
beginning.
Let's read the first written question that we have.
That works.
From, is the name underneath the person who asked the question?
Name is above.
Okay, the first one does not have a name on it. For your anniversary of infamous MGM photo reactions and
Yeah,
questions.
that is the lead into it. As I tweeted today, the MGM photo from 4 years ago. I had people sending me that on Snapchat stories 4 years ago today, this photo of you and me in that MGM parking lot. And then some people, as I asked for reactions to the photo of what I would call Joe in the dark times, we had some reactions to it. You could see the photo at Hack City Pod on Twitter if you would like.
Wait, what were some of the reactions?
Well, the first one would be Jamie Williams. This is either a tech developer with a brain dead bodyguard, assuming you're the tech developer and I'm the bodyguard, or a mobster with his accountant who cooks the books. I think it's the latter, given the amount of possible book cooking that we've seen.
Yeah,
on
but
the
you're
show
not.
as of
But
late.
you're not a. You don't. You're too big to be the mobster.
No,
You're the-
you don't
you're
think
the-
mobsters can be big?
Nah, I think that you're more muscle than you would be an actual mobster.
I think you're fair in your assessment that if I was joining a mob crew, I would be the muscle. I thank you. I'm very muscular and strong. That's very kind
You're
of you.
big.
But
just big.
that's very nice of you to say.
Just take
Joe.
up space.
But yes, I think Joe would cook the books. I don't know any tech developers that would need a brain dead bodyguard, but it is what it is. Chester, is that the old Walmart logo on those sweatpants? Oh, those sweatpants were also worn by Lonzo Ball when they were dropped. They were from Minimal, and a listener currently has them as I lost them in a Chad Duke show event. I think they were so horrendous and Dukes hated them so much that it was forced to give them away to a listener. New Big Rig still has them, I think, in his car.
To a listener.
Yeah, a listener has those sweats. Lastly, Cap and Jacks. Why is the drawstring so long? It's just called fashion, brother.
You're getting cooked more than I was. God,
Fat
I was
Joe.
so fat. I was so... My girlfriend texted me about this.
What
She
she
just said, no. That was it. That was all I got. Yeah, no, I do not look good. The bad glasses, bad haircut, don't fit in the shirt. The pants are too tight. Stance is terrible.
This was a
Oh,
disaster
God, I was
trip.
such a fat piece of shit.
This was your second try.
I literally didn't deserve to exist. Why is the drawstring in your pants so long?
Fashion, man. That's why.
That's not fashion.
It is fashion.
These look poorly constructed.
They were good pants. They rode a little low though on the ass. But for the most part, that was a bad trip because you went to the MGM with us. You didn't gamble. And then I think you popped two tires.
I was so broke.
I know you were broke. I was broke and I was still in there trying to make some money. All right. Voicemails in if we want to get to that before the regular Twitter questions.
All right. Which one is it? Fight stories?
Yes.
Hey, Hacks. Long time, something time. I can't remember. Anyways,
and it's 30 seconds. Just
I've only ever been in one fight in my life, and it was, the quintessential nerd fight. I wouldn't even consider it a fight. But before I get to that, essentially, the only person that I ever actually wanted to fight in my whole life was probably in sophomore year of high school, when there's this freshman who was talking to me, and he's kind of a prick. Nobody liked him, and everybody was he kind of harassed people. He had a kind of a posse of 2 or 3 other just chuckle fucks who would hang around with him. And he was, I don't know what the context or situation was, but he was essentially hanging out around me. And he figured out, I was the brother of one of his former classmates. My brother, 2 years younger, so he would have been in 8th grade at the time. But the fucking prick that I was talking to, he
it was so vulgar.
He's never would have been in middle school with my brother, and during the Pacer test, my brother peed himself, and he was asking me, aren't you the brother of the guy who peed himself in during the Pacer test? And yeah, that's the only guy that I really just fucking wailed on. I regret so much that I just kind of hand waved it away or whatever. I wish more than anything that I would have just beaten that little kid, just a snot right out of him. There's no real context for this. My brother's doing fine. But I just think about that from time to time. So now you're aware. The nerd fight that I mentioned at the beginning of the thing was just this one dude who's also kind of a prick, same grade as me, though it would have been a year later that we had met. Dude named Nathan, long, greasy blonde hair, glasses. Not that I had much less greasy hair, but he teased me for looking down at the computer when I typed, or looking down at the keyboard when I typed, and a couple of other things. He was just generally a prick. Our fight was mostly just I slapped him in the arm. And after he had declared that we were going to fight, he never hit me, so I consider I won that one. But anyways, fuck you, Nathan. I don't remember the name of the other kid, the first kid I mentioned.
Not a fight. It's not them on the arm.
So, anyways, thanks, Hacks. Bye.
I want more fight stories.
Yeah.
I want more bad fight stories.
Yeah.
I regret not fighting this person's story. I want all of this. Dan, fantastic voicemail. I could deal with just a hair less context. That could have been
the context.
That could have been about 2 minutes.
The context made it. I don't think that would have been as entertaining if you didn't have all the context.
I don't care what grade these kids were in. I needed to know what happened.
I need all of the details. What did you have for lunch?
I want to hear people's fight stories. I want to hear when you pussied out. I want to hear when you stood up for yourself. Somebody that's never been in a bar fight but had to fight often. And I'm very interested in this. Joe has very fun fight stories. And I'm trying to think, is there anyone you regret not fighting? I regret maybe not fighting a roommate at one point.
There's not any that I regret, but the worst fight story that I can think of was, and I am not proud of it. It was in college, obviously. Was inebriated with this one individual that I was with.
That's the person I regret not fighting.
Well, okay, so one of our roommates who we didn't like very much, and I would never have tried to fight him because he was so much bigger than me. But our freshman year, we were good friends and we would go out often, and he was a problem. Like he was always the type of person that would encourage you to get way too drunk. So that's what happened this one time. We went to a party. A rugby party. The last thing that we should have gone to.
Smart. Those guys aren't physical.
A rugby party. And we were drunk, and it was actually so drunk that we didn't know like really what was going on. And like he was drinking a beer in the Uber. He tried to offer the beer to the driver. The driver was pissed.
He did not.
Yeah. He's like, you want some? And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, oh my. We were Ubering there with two girls that he knew. And then the whole time that we were going there was shitting on where the girl was from, and was just completely. There's nothing to do with the fight.
He was spitting game.
It wasn't though.
Yeah.
It was really aggressive. It was really off-putting. And so, like, we don't really know what's going on, and we try to go into the front door of the party. And at the time, we thought that we were turned away at the door, or like we thought that like the door was locked or whatever, and like we couldn't get in. So we discover a way to get in through the back. And it occurs to me the next day that we were told we're not allowed to come in and we should not come in. And we broke into their house.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't literally break into their house, but like
you walked in.
Yeah, we walked in
You crashed the party.
Yeah, we walked in around the back. So somebody confronted him and said, "Who do you know here on the rugby team?" He name dropped somebody on the rugby team. And this guy calls BS. So he actually did know this person, but he calls BS. I'm just kind of standing there. I'm like, what's going on? I am not an aggressive. I am a very docile individual when I drink. I just want to chill and lean against the wall. I do not want to get into fights. This person does that I was with. Worst person to be with for a lot of reasons. A fight ensues. We get dragged outside. I'm not in the fight. I'm like trying to pull him away. I'm like, dude, we're outnumbered. We got to go. Yeah. We need to go. And he's trying to take on the rugby team. And I luckily, we got out of there, and I was able to defuse the situation. But that had to have been one of the most ridiculous spots that I've ever been in a potential. Like I could have gotten my ass kicked.
Yeah, I think you were lucky to go. For all the crap that you've given me for liking to stand and post up on the walls at functions, I'm shocked that now on the wall.
Yeah, I've always been pro that.
That's a disaster. I did
Yeah,
not know.
he's a bad person.
Every time I hear this story, a new wrinkle gets added in. I didn't know about the back door. I didn't know about the Uber ride.
It didn't register us at the time, but like the next day, it was like, oh, they totally said, no, you can't come in here. Like you're not like we don't know who you are. You can't come in here, and we still ignored them and tried to go in through their back door.
I've had to diffuse about I think 3 or 4 since in New York since going out up there. Maybe once every other time I go out with a certain individual. There's a time.
None of the times I've been out with you.
Yeah, you're a nice little balance. You keep it nice and conversational. You're not as aggro. But when me and this one person really start drinking, that's when people start looking at us funny, I guess. But fantastic voicemail,
Yeah,
Dan.
that's great. I think we should start doing like a reoccurring. Like we should have a reoccurring Twitter post with a prompt. Like
Yes.
be like, we need this week. We need,
Next week, fight stories. I want
Fight
fight
stories.
stories.
Fight
Give us your
stories.
fight stories. I know you have them. I know it's a lot of people from the Midwest getting angry about getting pulled up at a honky tonk or whatever you guys do. All right. Give us your stories.
All right. Jamie's question. If either of the Grimace Conference teams win, will y'all dress up as Grimace and the Hamburglar? If they win the national championship, yes. If Tarleton or ACU wins the national championship, 100%.
I'd say if one of them goes to this, if one of them even goes to the national championship,
All right, that's fair. I'll do that.
I think
I'll
I
do
would
that.
do that. Yeah. Who are you?
We'll get
are you
tickets.
Hamburglar?
Yeah, I think you're so
I would
big. You
have
have
to
to
be
be
Grimace.
Grimace. You have to be.
Do I have to get do I have to get the full regalia?
Yeah.
Or I have to be sitting here in a Grimace costume?
I think we should go to Frisco. And we should get you
Is that
the
where we're
Grimace
going to
costume.
start
Yeah.
petitioning?
We'll get flyers. We'll make up flyers. Jamie's next question. How did you spend your first Thanksgiving together as a roommate couple? He went home and I went home. What did you think? What?
What are you talking about, Jamie? You
A
thought
lame question,
you
Jamie.
thought Joe handled the stuffing and I made the taters? Come on. We weren't doing that.
Who even does that with their roommates? I don't like.
Jamie, here, I'm going to fill you in real quick. We had some people in our building that were hosting a Friendsgiving, and me and Joe mocked them for 25 minutes because we could see the sign from their window. We don't do that, Jamie. All right? We're mean people. That's what we do.
Why didn't we go over there?
We would not have been liked. I don't think.
We should have broke in.
We want to just break into the rugby party going on.
It's not a rugby party. They look like dorks.
What were we going to bring? My 2 bags of unopened yellow rice and that's going to get a rice cooker? Hey, I brought 59 cents worth of food.
We start cooking the rice in the rice cooker and we carry the rice cooker over while the rice is being cooked. And they can't turn us away. It's like, we need to plug this in now. It's mid-process. We unplugged it.
Hey, we're trying to be neighborly. I'm showing up with 4 beers. That's great. I drank 6 on the elevator ride. That's smart. Hey, nice to meet you guys.
All right, buys and rants for both at Sanderson Radio and at Joe DeLeone. What was the Christmas item you hoped Santa would deliver for Christmas as a kid? Did you get it? I think the only one was an Xbox, and I did get that. I don't think I'd have like a funny answer to this. An Xbox 360 was one that I was desperately in need of every single year.
Yeah, I always wanted my 2 front teeth. All I wanted for Christmas was my 2 front teeth.
I mean,
aside from that, when I got the Xbox 360 with Madden, what had Peyton Hillis on it? Was that 11? Or that might have been Madden 12. That I spent years playing Madden 12 with Peyton Hillis on it. Yeah, that was massive. The Xbox 360 was just revolutionary. I know I cried and begged my dad for a bunch of those gimmicky toys that you see on TV. Like, you remember that inflatable UFO that you would toss around?
Or like the stupid ball thing that was supposed to float in your hands.
Oh, yeah,
the
the Fushigi and all that. Yeah,
I'm glad that my dad was smart enough to, like, even if I think I've brought one of those things up once, and my dad was like, that is the stupidest thing that you could have asked for. I'm giving you something practical, and then it was never even thought of again.
I'm kidding you a textbook, young Joe. But yeah, I got that inflatable Frisbee that looked like a UFO. I was so excited. You can only imagine little doughy 7-year-old Sean Anderson running around in the backyard, so excited to throw this thing around, pops on a holly tree leaf on the second toss, distraught. I might have been in tears. It might have been a big
Sean
meltdown.
Anderson.
Oh God, I was distraught. But yeah, that was one I'll always remember because I remember the excitement and letdown because of my irresponsibility.
I'm really disappointed in you with that joke that you tried to pull
Oh.
at the you normally say at least like your bad throws are at least like worth a chuckle. That was one of the only times I can remember where I was just like, I'm not laughing at this. That's not even funny.
You know what's bad about that?
What?
I thought about saying that before the show. That wasn't natural.
Oh, you thought that
I've had
through?
that song stuck in my head since I saw the question earlier today.
I hope our listeners are upset.
They should.
I hope
they deserve better.
With the portal about to open, this is from Bison Rants. What current or former player in all of football would you wish the URI Rams could get? I mean, can we just put Caleb Williams?
Yeah, I mean,
Rams. That's a tough question because, like, oh man,
I wouldn't mind getting another year out of the best long snapper I've ever seen in Donato Crisanti. I mean, if he could stay there, I mean, that guy's an athlete.
Another year of Juwan Lawson. If we had Juwan,
I would take another
quarterback
year
on this team.
I would take another year of Juwan. This team with Juwan Lawson would be
national champions.
Oh,
national champions.
God, they would give anybody a run.
All right, Bison Rants. Also, would the Hacks ever take their impressive media empire and gambling income and start an NIL for URI? If I made enough money, I would absolutely actually legitimately contribute to the NIL.
Oh yeah, is that when we're going to get a picture up in the Emporium?
I guess
because of our NIL donation. No, I'm not doing. You know what? If you want to get,
if I had some real money, I would. I obviously can't do that right now.
If you want, 26-year-old kid can't buy in a huge NIL stuff for URI. If you want to,
I can contribute like $20 a month, maybe.
If you want to get a pulse on the NIL situation for URI, check out Stone Freeman and Jack O'Mara. They're doing a good job with it. They're on the ground floor. They're building it up. They're trying to keep up to date and stay above the curve, ahead of the curve in the FCS. So they're doing a good job with it. I will give them a shout for that. I don't know if I donate. I don't know. There's every time that I think that I would, I see a certain program from that school posting someone that isn't me or Joe or other people that I
but the
really
donations
respect.
going to the football program, and the football program was so excited during homecoming.
That's true.
To have us there. It's the football program.
I gotcha.
And I have already decided this, if the Harrington School of Communications reaches out to me for the amount of people that they have used that are doing lame ass.
See the one I sent?
The lame ass. But I saw it before you even sent it to me.
Yeah.
I see these things.
I'm surprised.
The minute they come out. The amount of people that are doing like assistant to mid-level work at like no-name companies as like social media assistants, and they're posting them, and they haven't even reached out to Sean or I to promote their sports media program, to promote their communications program. If they ever reach out to me, if they don't do it, actually the timeline's already done. The fact that they haven't done it already, I will respond and I will say, no, thank you. You had your chance. I promise you I'm going to do that.
Well, it should have happened 2 years ago when you had your job in LA and I had your current job, which are both good jobs. And now you've got a good job and I've got a good job, still in sports media, still doing everything that what we were preaching in Rhode Island. And it's just whatever, I guess.
I was going to make a comment about your current job. Oh yeah, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to, because I don't think that they would reach out about your current job.
I'm aware that there might be some, but still,
but
give me a break.
The other part about this too, and like
somebody was featured because of their street sign design in Worcester, Mass. Because of that, because their graphic design for a yield. You mentioned that's stupid. You mentioned that would have been good timing, or like shit. You've got all these, and like I don't bring the viral thing over the summer up often at all on this show because like it doesn't define me. But like you would think that if any of the social media professors were paying, or sports media professors, or just media, journalism, whatever, were paying attention, that they go, wow, we have one of the few unique circumstances where a former student of ours figured out how to garner the attention of an entire app for a day. Why don't we ask him to come speak or freaking something, or at least some sort of recognition? But no, someone who runs a social media page for a furniture company is a real big deal. I was never asked about my perfect clipping and timing of a Simpsons clip that garnered 65K likes.
All right.
On Twitter. Come on.
All right, Chester asks, what group of individuals is hornier, SEC quarterbacks or NBA players? Didn't Cade Klubnik get caught up too?
ACC though, I think.
But I think he deserves to get just general college quarterbacks. I'm going with NBA players because NBA players have too high of a clip of getting girls pregnant and also getting caught doing weird stuff. I'm going with NBA players, but we do have to have a discussion by the general overall lack of juice from all of these guys, because all of the interactions that you see from Carson Beck, Klubnik, from Quinn Ewers, it's a lot of begging. It's a lot of please,
They're
20
to 22
No,
years
you
old,
gotta
man.
you gotta have a
I'm
little
aware.
self-respect. You're making millions of dollars currently, and you're about to make even more. You have a little bit. No wonder your Quinn Ewers is fumbling.
Look, podcasts are bad for NBA players because women will go on and say the nastiest stuff that they've ever done with NBA players, which, truth or not, sheds a bad light on them for their horniness levels. SEC quarterbacks, it's Snapchat. You're getting caught up. I think the greatest thing that could ever happen to A.J. McCarron is he was pre-social media age, and he just had to go out and boss up and bag Miss Alabama at a bar or at a game, wherever it happened. So the new age, I don't even want to knock the SEC quarterbacks because I know how I was talking to girls and my pleads with them when I was 19 and 20 and 21. I am well aware.
Were you begging though?
There may have been some begging.
You had but you had a reason to have no juice. And I had a reason to have no juice either, but you're literally the starting quarterback of a top program.
That is completely true.
You get a no. Move on to the next one, brother.
That's a very good point. There needs to be a coach in their ear, not like a coach, but a talking to girls coach saying, "Hey man, what are you doing? If they don't respond to you with that fang out, just move on, because any conversation afterwards is getting clipped up." We should have learned with Zion. When Zion's whole that would have had me, if I'm a star college athlete, I'm not doing the Snapchat. You'll have my number, and I hope you don't save it.
Chester asks, would you waste a 3rd-round pick on Sid from Ice Age? I would. Carson Beck has had enough of a strong finish to the season. That's what he meant, obviously.
I know it's what he meant, but it's just
he's had a strong enough of a finish. Actually, all right, forget that question for a second. I've been meaning to bring this up, and I almost tweeted this out when the latest Snapchat screenshot of him saying that, like, why don't I show you why you should free up
the calendar?
Yeah. How the hell did he bag one of the Cavender twins, which is like known as two of the most attractive girls, college age girls in the country? Dudes are frothing from the mouth just to see pictures of them, standing in their basketball uniforms. And he pulled that off with that poor level of race.
Look,
he's got no juice.
It's because he's the quarterback of Georgia, and somehow he's still getting caught up. What are we doing? Yeah, exactly. Like, this is what you're capable of.
Like multiples too.
It's actually a perfect metaphor for Carson Beck on the field, man. I know what you're capable of. You could throw 4 touchdowns and 300 yards, but you keep on throwing picks, and the picks are getting caught up on Snapchat. But you can't be a consistent ball player.
I need to understand, what did he slide into her DMs? How did this happen? Because clearly he's got no decorum, or maybe he's struck out so many times. This was the one time he's like, all right, I'm going to play it cool. I'm not going to be a weird pervert.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing? I'm Carson Beck, national champion. You want to come over?
Yeah, but he didn't win a national championship. He was on a national championship winning team. There's no juice behind that either.
Think she knows that?
I was once considered for the Heisman for a very short period of time.
You think she knows it was 5'10" Stetson Bennett leading the charge?
I might get drafted in the 1st round. How you doing? Well, I've heard Stetson Bennett actually has juice.
Oh, yeah, of course
he
does.
Deploys it effectively. He's a very big DMer.
I love Stetson Bennett. I'm a continuous, until he does something too egregious, I'm Team Stetson.
When we were at the national championship media with Believe, and we went around and did that one video where we asked, would you let Stetson Bennett date your sisters? There were a disturbing amount of individuals that said, no, I would not let Stetson Bennett.
Stetson gets down, man.
All right. Your shout. What do you got?
Let's get through this. It's winter time, people. It is colder than all hell. I'm gonna give you Sean's shout of the week at everything you should eat, drink,
Sean's not gonna
watch.
do this, by the way.
Oh, I've been doing it. I got my eggplant parm last time I had it. I did the shout. That was solid.
Sat in the fridge for a month and a half, and I had to just.
Oh no, that was different. I should have thrown that out. That's on me. But that was not the eggplant. That was just wet marinara soaked bread. Disgusting. Bad roommate move by me. Sean, shout of the weekend, though. What you're going to eat this weekend. It is so GD cold this week that maybe you just starve. Honestly, my biggest regret was leaving my leather driving gloves in an Outback Steakhouse in Arlington, Virginia, because not having those and having my bare hands out there getting whipped by the wind makes me never want to leave the crib. I may punish myself this weekend for leaving those gloves and not eat anything. If you are a brave enough soul to go to the grocery store, just get something hot. We're not doing the cold sandwiches anymore. We're not doing the runaround with cold cuts. We're not doing the runaround with anything that is not piping hot. If you got someone in your life that knows how to make chili, beg them to make them. Hands and knees, Michael Irvin on the U sideline, beg them to make something hot, soup, chili, anything. What you're going to drink. Here's your crossroads, people. First weekend of December. You're going to really lean into the alcoholism through the winter when it's nice and dark. You can drink in your room. Or are you going to start your winter arc? I'm doing a show with somebody that knows what a winter arc is, and I believe is trying to complete one. And I am likely to lean.
Every day is a part of the arc.
I am likely to lean into the alcoholism. If you want to have a body you're proud of come springtime and summertime, drink water this weekend. Get started on the right foot. If you want to destroy yourself,
definitely not doing that.
If you want to destroy yourself, like I likely will, cheap liquor mixed with cranberry or orange juice, because you need your vitamins in these dark winters. All right. So we're going to try to level it out. We're not just doing straight booze. You're going to have to get some vitamins mixed in there. What you're going to watch? Here's a watch. I'm going to ask Joe to watch this with me. He probably won't.
Nope.
True Romance. I'm going to watch it for the first time this weekend. Don't know how I haven't watched it. The 1993 offering features Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, Dennis Hopper, who had my favorite Gorillaz cameo of all time, Val Kilmer, Gary Oldman, Brad Pitt, Christopher Walken, Samuel L. Jackson, and Michael Rappaport. I don't know how I've missed this film. It's the Detroit drug and mob movie.
Does it have good ratings?
Very good ratings, coming in at just under 2 hours. I don't know how I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to watch it this weekend. I know all the old head movie ball knowers that listen to this show are saying, Sean, how have you seen it? I'm catching up with you. I promise you, Dustin Hilton. I don't think I'm going to live tweet it, but I will have a review for it sometime on social media.
What's that one Christmas movie that everyone, is it Love Actually?
Love Actually is a Christmas movie. The popular one recently is The Holdovers, which I watched about a month ago. Maybe it was 2 months ago.
I don't know movies.
Paul Giamatti kicks ass in that one.
Quickly, by the way, we had a live question from Zach. What chances do you give South Dakota State on completing the three-peat? I would say that it is 1 in 3. I think it's third. I give them a 33% chance because it's one of the few times. The reason why they won it the past 2 years is because they were far and away the best team in the country. Like they had such a separation gap between them and every single other team. The difference is this year is one, they lost to North Dakota State. So they've bled a little bit, and we can see that they don't have the same level of receiver talent that we're used to seeing, those playmakers to help Gronowski out. And the other part about this is Montana State looks unstoppable. So if you do reach or you get that far, can you beat Montana State? So I give them a 33% chance. If you get over Montana State, I forget where they are in the bracket.
I think it's South Dakota State's worst odds for me in the last couple years, simply because the quarterback play from the teams around them.
It's really stepped up.
It's really stepped up, and they've played honestly better than Gronowski has this year. We're talking about Miles Hastings. We're talking about Cam Miller making huge strides. Tommy Mellott, obviously huge double threat. So there are going to be legit challenges from other quarterbacks that, like Gronowski's going to have really, really solid turnover-free games and become like an impeccable game manager. Not someone that's going to go out and throw for 400 yards, but actually be near spotless, I think, for them to make this deep run.
All right. At Joe DeLeone, at Sanderson Radio, at Hack City Pod. Subscribe, notification bell, hit the like button. Talk to folks later.